One's ready. Go! So you guys are going into special warfare assessment selection. It is an attributes-based selection model. What does that mean?
Guys, are we running right now to get fitter? Are we practicing running? Practicing.
I can't freaking...
So there's a holistic picture that we're looking for. The instructors are giving you input, and we're expecting an output. And everything is for a reason. If you guys haven't heard my spiel yet, everything that we do, every single exercise, has a connection to the job that you're trying to do. We don't want people at INDOC, Special Warfare Assessment Selection, whatever they're gonna call the new course when it inevitably changes somewhere down the road. I don't care what they call it. What I need is you to show me the raw materials for the things that I wanna build you into. Just like everything else, it's a crawl, walk, run.
I can run a keystone just like this. All the way to ATC, you never quit. All the way to ATC, you never quit.
People don't realize this, but like if you shoot us an Instagram comment or a comment on YouTube and you're like, hey, I want to come on the podcast, we're gonna tell you yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna be
I
like,
appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, hey, you want to come on and you want to talk about stuff? Come on.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
I DM'd you guys a while back about just trying to promote the 148th ASOS, and Peaches was like, well, I'd love to have somebody from there on, and they were getting ready to deploy, so they just couldn't really find it. But Peaches was like, we like to have recruiters on too, so if you ever want to do it. So that's why I reached back out whenever I did. So,
well, the listeners like to have recruiters on. We hate it, but
yeah, I mean, nobody likes recruiters, so
We hate it. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We're here with Derrick Blake. He's from the 193rd Special Operations Wing out in Pennsylvania. He's a Guard recruiter. He's an A-10 crew chief by trade, but the man, the myth, the legend, you guys just heard about it. We're doing a little thing called, we just hit record and talk. You guys know how we start these podcasts out. So if you guys were wondering what we talk about in the back rooms, that's it. We just talk about random stuff. But anyway, Derrick, thanks for coming to the podcast, man. We really appreciate it. How are you?
great. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So obviously Pennsylvania guy, you're a Midwest dude. You know what's funny about Ohio and Pennsylvania? They say Midwest. You're a lake away from France and one lake away from the ocean. And they say that's somehow Midwest.
Yeah.
It's in fact not Midwest. It's Northeast if it's anything.
I was going to say there's nothing funny about that area at all.
No. Oh, that's a good one, Trent. That's a good joke. I like that. Derrick, how'd you find yourself in the Air Force, man?
Yeah, so I mean, funny story. I actually joined the Marines when I was a junior, or in between my junior and senior year of high school. I was gung ho, ready to go be a Marine, and then like halfway through my senior year, I was like, "What am I doing? Like, I don't know if this is." I was like, "I don't know if this is really what I want to do." I was signed up to do infantry, which I would have done. I would have enjoyed, but kind of realized wasn't really what I wanted to do. Kind of wanted to do something involving airplanes. Always had a fascination with, fighter jets, stuff like that. So, but then I was going to go to college for a little bit, realized, I was going to go to college, and then I went to the Ocean City, Maryland air show, and the F-22s were flying over, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, why would I pay to go to college and learn to work on planes when I could do it for free and work on cooler stuff? So, was going to join active duty, talk to a recruiter with them, and then my grandfather, one of his good friends, was a retired chief from the 175th in Maryland, and he was like, no, he's like, don't let him join active duty, like, bring him with me, I'll take him down to the base, show him around. So he took me down. They kind of sold me on getting to stay at home, still get to work on A-10, stuff like that. So ended up joining the Guard right after my senior year, and waited around about a year to leave for school. Yeah, ever since then, it just was A-10 crew chief for the last 5 or so years, and then started recruiting back in November. So
That's awesome. When did you get in?
August of 2018. So
Okay.
Graduated in 18. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I actually went to the same high school as Daniel Zerbe.
Did you really?
Yeah, so I didn't know it at the time, but I was like reading up on Extortion 17 and stuff, and I seen he was from York, Pennsylvania, and I was like, no way. And then we went to the same high school, so kind of neat, I guess. But ended up joining Maryland down in Baltimore. That's where I spent the last 5-6 years. So
Yeah, and you're from Pennsylvania, so you had to say you went down the shore to enlist there. So that's a thing. It's a very regional joke, everybody. There's about 1% of the country that gets that. So your grandfather did a great job here. We always get questions about, hey, you know, what's the difference between the Guard and active duty, and why should I join each? And your grandfather was a big proponent for you to join the Guard. How did he sell you on joining the Guard versus active duty?
Yeah, well, so my grandfather was just talking to that retired chief, and he was like, "Yeah, my grandson wants." Oh, no. He was like, "Yeah, my grandson wants to join active duty," and he was like, "No, like bring him down here." And when I went down there, they kind of showed me around. I was like, "I just want to work on planes," and they're like, "Oh, you want to be a crew chief?" I didn't know any different, so I was like, "Yeah, sure." But they took me into the shop and took me out on the flight line and stuff, showed me around, and they were like, "Yeah, you know, we're very family oriented. We like to work hard, play hard." And you know, I was sold. And they honestly sold me on the full time opportunities because I had no idea that was even a thing. So that's really what sold me on it. And I got to stay living at home and still get the full time military experience.
Yeah, and can you explain that? Because people ask us about this all the time. It's a good chance to talk about the active Guard and reserve, you know, capability that they have. Because there is a possibility that you could go to a unit and have a full-time day job and work full-time for the Guard as opposed to doing a traditional Guard. So could you kind of tell the difference between full-time and traditional Guard reserve?
Yeah, and it gets kind of confusing with the Guard with all the different statuses and stuff. So I was a technician. So basically a civilian government employee, still wore the uniform, everything like that. I got paid hourly though. You know, our leave and everything like that was kind of different. But so I got paid hourly. It's kind of like a GS employee. I was a WG. So we have those types, and then we have AGRs, which is Active Guard Reserve. That's what most people are familiar with. But yeah, started out as a technician, and I was still full time. Most Guard units are 410s, so had Mondays off. That's something that I kind of sell people on too, is like, we have Mondays off. We have 3-day weekends. So it is nice.
This is the problem with the Guard right here. Look at him smiling, people. Look at him. Right. This is disgusting.
He's talking about family, talking about living at home. 3-day weekends are your life. This is why we hate the active duty guys. This is why we hate you guys, because you're always just happier.
Yeah, it's not a bad life, man. But yeah, so I Guard bummed it for like a year. Just hopping on orders, stuff like that. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole. There's all types of orders you can get on, whether it's AT, which is your annual training, ST days, all kinds of stuff. Anytime we get a new pilot, we get, I think like 2 years of orders to help support that pilot, get his training up so we can use those days, stuff like that. So, yeah, I kind of Guard bummed it for a year. I went out to DM for like 3 months, helped out with the test unit out there, just working on A-10s on different mods and stuff. And then actually got hired while I was out there, did a phone interview, and started when I got home. So, yeah, definitely plenty of full-time opportunities. I'd say like 30% of the Guard is full-time, and then the rest are just what you know of the traditional Guardsmen. But yeah, it's a good opportunity. The pay is good, especially if you can get an AGR position, because it's your active duty, but in the Guard, living at home. So it's funny. Like, people that I grew up with are like, "You're in the Air Force. How are you home all the time?" I'm like, Guard, bro.
They're asking the right question.
Yeah, for sure.
No, can we go back to the beginning? I know we kind of skip over it, but these are the types of questions that we get a lot. Is like, hey man, like, how does it actually work? Like, how do I call someone in the Guard and set up these like interviews? Like, how do I get a job? How do I get assigned a job? How long, like, am I assigned to that unit before I go to BMT? Because it is so different than active duty, where like if you'd taken a tour of an active duty base back in the day, we would have told you that we're going to crush your soul, you know, like whatever. They wouldn't have let you on the flight line. They would have told you to get out of there and all that stuff. But like, how long were you with the unit before you went to BMT? How does all of that work? And you know, how does your life work at that point? Because it is a lot different.
Yeah. So when I originally went down there for the first time, I talked to the recruiters and stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, you know, the crew chiefs, they're starting out at this much an hour." Like, and as an 18-year-old, I was like, "Holy cow!" Like, I think in the DC pay, it was like $36 an hour. I started out at. So that's what I was sold on. So I joined, and then.
Hi, Peaches.
Just
go ahead. Don't let him
interrupt and just keep going.
Yeah, don't let him interrupt you, Derek. This guy, he big times you. He comes in when he wants. He's probably going to leave early. Like,
No, that's
Hello,
fine.
Derrick.
How's it going? But yeah, so they were like, yeah, there's full-time opportunities. I was like, cool. Like, I figured, I didn't know any better. I figured, you just get put into one of those right away. But you actually can't get recruited into a full-time position. You have to apply, and typically they pick from people already within the unit. There are some cases where, like, if you're waiting in student flight to go to BMT, I've seen people get hired, but that's few and far between because you're not trained, so you really can't do anything. But it is possible. But yeah, so I waited in the student flight, which is kind of like the DEP. But you're coming to drill every month. You're getting paid. You're just kind of learning about BMT, getting ready for BMT, learning the Airman's Creed, all that kind of stuff.
Wait,
then,
you're getting paid before BMT.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So, so the day you enlist, your time starts. So even though I went to BMT in 2019, technically my time started in 2018 when I joined. So that's important now because people are worried about people like juniors people that join right before their senior year. All that time counts. So you're basically knocking a year off your contract before even going to BMT.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing for some of these kids that maybe they don't want to do a 6-year contract.
Derrick, I learn things on this podcast every time we do it. I want to say thank you. That is a cool thing about the Guard I had no clue about. You start accruing time right from the second that you basically come onto the unit, even before basic training.
Yeah. So like the day you join, you're technically a member of the military. You get your security clearance. All that stuff starts. You get paid. You can enroll in Tricare, all that stuff. So I was signing up for like GovX and all kinds of military discounts the day I enlisted. So
You get medical and everything. Like,
yeah, I signed up for Tricare. Yeah. So
look at Peaches' face. Peaches just learned this information too. My young man Derrick is walking around Pennsylvania, just dripped out in 5'11" and Wiley X. People are like, I bet did you get the mustache issued? Is that when that started? Because I gotta be honest with you, man.
No, that was a deployment thing last year. Just kind of stayed with me. We're still working on it, but
yeah.
But yeah, man, all that stuff starts the day you enlist. Even like your college benefits. So each state has different college benefits. But say somebody, they're 20 years old or whatever, and they're already going to school. They enlist. They might not leave for BMT for 6 to 12 months. They can start going to college right away, and using that money to pay for their school. So that's a big difference between Guard and active duty, obviously, which is pretty nice. But yeah, going back to, I waited around in the student flight for about a year, just because crew chief slots are, they're pretty full. And the Guard only gets a certain amount of seats in the schools. So it's a little bit tougher for us to get seats and for us to get out the door. But went to BMT, went to Shepherd, enjoyed my time there, did a little bit of time at DM, and then came back and just
don't say anything negative about Wichita Falls. All right, that place is fantastic. The roads are wide. There's not a lot of traffic. It's amazing. Like, I get it for like a 21-year-old. It's probably not the best place on earth, but I love Wichita Falls, Texas.
Yeah, dude. It's funny, when I went there for tech school, I hated it because I couldn't really do anything. But I went back last year for crash recovery school, and I was like, this place is actually pretty sweet.
Mark Ripeto's gym is there. Like, one of the most famous lifters and coaches in the entire world. His gym is in Wichita Falls. He let me lift there. I went there for NCOA, right? So I was like, I was in Vegas, and I was like, oh my God, I got to go to Shepherd for 6 weeks for this course. It's going to be terrible. So I randomly, I was like, wait a second, Mark Ripeto's gym's there. So I stop in. I was just like, hey, I'm here for 6 weeks. I'd love to work out here. Please tell me what your rate is. Like, what are you going to charge me? And Mark Ripeto himself was like, listen, man, I make all my money off my books. I haven't charged anybody for this gym. He would just like come in and pull up a chair while I was lifting and start coaching me. And I was like, what is happening? I had a great time at Wichita Falls. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But
so what's that like going through with all the active duty folks who are actively trying to escape where they came from? And then you, a Guard person who's been in the military, these are my air quotes, everybody, if you can't see it, for like over a year, and you have like, a soul and all that other crap. I don't know. How does that going through all that training, and how do you deal with it? And what are the differences in training, especially like on the tech school side, between the guard folks and the active duty folks?
Yeah, it was different in BMT too because I already knew my job. I knew what I was going to work on, what plane, all that kind of stuff. So that helped too. But tech school, it was cool. I mean, you're working with the same guys that, you know, you're going through class with fellow A-10 crew chiefs. So I wouldn't say there was like a huge difference, but it was nice getting to kind of tell them like how good I'm going to have it when I get home. And they're not really sure what's going to happen to them when they get to their duty station. But I actually, when I went to DM for tech school, because we go there for like our flight line training, I like fell in love with it. I was like, I need to switch to active duty. Just being like young and naive, I was like, man, this is cool. Like I get to, because I figured if I switched to active duty, I'd probably get stationed at DM because that was like the A-10 hub. So I was like, I reached out to a recruiter and they were like, yeah, there's only 100 prior service slots a year for active duty. So the chances of you doing that are pretty slim to none. But when I got back home and stuff, I realized that I made the right decision. So, but
So
not to talk bad about active duty or anything, but
I mean, they're the worst. Let's be honest.
I was going to say, if you want to make this podcast 2 hours, you can get us going on how bad active duty is, because I'll tell you, you would just sit there and we would take over the entire podcast.
It was when he was like, I want to stay close to home. Thinking back, I was like, I wanted the opposite. I wanted to get So
what was cool is like I was gone for about 7 months. That was like the perfect time for me to kind of get out on my own, get away from home for a little bit, you know, get a little bit of life experience outside of Pennsylvania, and then come back and kind of settle down or settle in. So that is one thing that's nice, is like you do get time away. Got to meet some awesome friends I still talk to all the time. So it was a cool experience. And then, you know, obviously you come home and you're back to reality a little bit. So
what was your deployment like? Where was it? I may have missed the location, but
so it was an undisclosed location in the Middle East. Probably aware of where it was, I guess, but it was good. While I was there, you know, Iran got a little wild and was shooting stuff at Israel, but so that was really the only cool thing that happened. But we were just supporting some of the stuff going on with the ground troops over there, and some of the F-15 missions that were going on. So it was a cool experience. Another thing, guard deployments, most of them are only 3 months. So that was like the perfect time to, by the time you're getting sick of everybody and fed up with everybody, it's time to go home. So
listen, Trent's already bought in on the guard. Okay.
Right. Trent's about to get back in on the guard. He's like,
yeah, man, we'll take you.
We'll take you.
Now, once you see my medical records, you won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be the tough part.
Yeah. Every time we have a guardsman on, Trent's just in there like, oh.
you just
And
see
everybody's
20
got a
years,
smile on their face in the guard.
20 years of decisions that Trent's made. He's just, you can see it's like the meme of the dog like looking at the pictures of Nam, like the little Chihuahua that sees like the helicopter, and he's just like, oh my god, I did it wrong the entire time.
So you were talking about Iran, Israel kind of trading bombs and stuff like that. Are you talking about like recently, like in the last couple months, or are you talking about like, you know?
This was like spring into summer of 24. So
Okay. All right.
kind of the start of all of it. But,
okay. Wasn't sure if you like just got back and you were over there for Operation Midnight Hammer.
No.
OneJetti.com. Right there.
Oh wow.
Operation.com.
This is what he brings to the podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love how he said undisclosed location. And you're like, oh, really? What time frame? What general area? How many people did you go with?
Just say the country.
Did you have your Strava on so that we could map the base?
Yeah, it's funny. When the B2s, whenever I was at a recruiting event at the Pocono Raceway, PA, and we were kind of hanging out, and everybody was coming up like, "Yeah, great job last night, guys! Like, you know, good job." And we're like, "Yeah, that was us." Like, you know, we had nothing to do with it. It's just funny. Like people just assume we're all the same, but
you're welcome, sir.
yeah, we were like, "Yeah, no problem, guys." But
yeah, well, that's don't Tim Kennedy yourself, okay?
No, I
Do
would
that.
never.
Okay, I don't want that for you.
No, certainly not.
So does the guard have because on the active duty side, at least on the special tactics and kind of RQS Guardian Angel side of the house, we have reintegration programs and stuff like that when you come back from deployment. Does the guard do anything like that?
A little bit. I mean, you get some time off. Obviously, the full timers, you get your regular like R&R type stuff. The guardsmen, they just go back to their normal lives. They get time off too, so but they'll just end up going back to their regular jobs or going back to school or whatever they were doing. So I think I got like a month off, something like that, and then just came back and kept training. So
It's not bad after a 3-month deployment, a month off. I take it.
not bad. Well, I think we got back on like 4th of July. So yeah, just the weekends and stuff. It all ended up being around a month. So
Yeah. And I probably missed it. You're a full-time guard or you're a part-time?
yeah, I was guard bumming it for like a year, so I was kind of full time, kind of not. I was there most of the time, but and then about a year in, I got hired full time as a technician. So I did that for about 4 or so years, and then transferred to Pennsylvania as a recruiter, and now I'm AGR. So.
Okay. All right. And then and again, I'm playing catch up. So forgive me, people. You
Oh
work
my
for
God.
the 193rd AGAL?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
What's it like just surrounding yourself with these TACPs? Like
It's cool to me, not being really involved with it. Most of them are pretty cool. So I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. I love special operations, stuff like that. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I'm all about it. But it's
Derrick, I've just got to play. I'm winding you up, man. I got to play into there's a thing that people seem to think that we hate: TACP, SEER, and EOD. Like specifically, those
we only hate SEER, really.
Right. Yeah. I don't know where that came from. We've been very clear about the only career field we don't like is SEER. Like, I don't understand how TACP and EOD got rolled into this. We love those bumpers. You know what I mean? Like,
so I just got to play into it because for some reason people get really upset, and spouses of people really get upset whenever they're in our comments and talking to us, and they speak for the entire community. Like it's just, it's wild. So.
Whatever you guys got going on with them.
Was that a spouse that was upset about the guest that we had?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry,
podcast
is 2 years old. Yeah, it's like, man, this is going to be a very member specific thing. Like if you guys watch the comments on some of our videos and watch our responses, which is our favorite thing to do, you will get that joke. Everybody else, just go look at the comments. It's on a SEER episode. Happy hunting. It's funny.
Yeah. So what is the 193rd AGAL? Like, are they taking you on any kind of events to help educate you because you hadn't had any TACP experience beforehand? Are they taking you out on training trips, showing you and kind of teaching you and educating you on what in fact they do, especially on the guard side of the house?
Me personally, I haven't went out with them yet, but some of our other recruiters, they've gotten to go out on a couple different training stuff with them. They're very good with letting us be involved and helping us learn more about what they do and try to promote it. So yeah, it is good that they let us come out there and help them, or not help them, but see what they do, get a better idea. And we have a range. We work at Fort Indian Town Gap. Which is a big guard training base for the Army. We have a range there, so they're always out there doing cast stuff, and so they'll let us come out and just see what they do and get a better idea of what it actually means to be a TACP, which is good.
Is it mostly them just setting up photo ops so they can be doing like the hand thing while the bird's going over? I'm assuming like that takes most of the day is setting that photo op.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure there's some of that. But
you guys have still got so trying to go serious now. Do they still need to they have to do DFT and all that kind of stuff, right? Like if you did get somebody who's 17 wanting to join the Guard, they need to do the development fitness test. And do they still get the chance to enter into development sessions?
So what we do, they'll take the IFT, make sure they're actually a good candidate for them, and then they enlist. Excuse me, and then they'll get put into what they call the 1-level program. So they're coming to drill, stuff like that, and they're basically just working out, going with the strength and conditioning coach, stuff like that, and then really just getting ready for BMT and eventually the pipeline. So they're doing IFTs like every drill weekend, basically just making sure they're ready to go, because they don't want to send somebody down there without being prepared. And then once they ship off, then they're kind of on their own. But they do definitely help them get prepared and stuff like that. I don't know. I know we call it the 1-level program here, basically before you ship off. So you're just working out, getting a feel for the job, stuff like that. So
Right. You had like your year of the, what'd you call that flight that you were in before you shipped off to BMT?
Student flight.
Yeah, I was going to call it baby flight, but student flight, whatever.
Same thing.
So like, and it's like the similar program, right? But have you seen the differences? Because I'm assuming that if I was going to get someone ready for the pipeline, like much like our development sessions that we have for the active duty folks, I'm assuming the TACP folks over there run their guys through a mini gauntlet before they ship out, because that unit has to pay for their pipeline, right? Their schooling and all that other stuff. So they're very much invested in making sure that they only have to go through it once and they're as successful as possible, so they can get them back and do the job that they've already hired them to do. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. And we have a student flight similar here. The TACPs, they don't come with us. They just stay with the unit the whole weekend. And they're basically just going through the gauntlet. From what I've heard, I actually haven't been down there to see it, but just really just working out, stuff like that, getting them ready.
You can probably hear their screams from where you're at, right? I'm assuming it's. So what?
Yeah.
So you did say earlier, and we're getting there. You all have some TACP positions available, because it's wild how often we get, and I get a little pithy in the comments and the DMs every once in a while. But like, people will be like, "Man, how do I join the Guard? How do I join the Guard?" And it's difficult for us, because we're like, well, you have to find the unit, you have to jump in there. Like, we've kind of gone over how different the process is. But you all have TACP openings right now for folks coming in off the street, because that's usually the questions that we're getting.
Yeah, we have actually a decent amount of TACP openings. We've filled a couple, like I was saying earlier, with the New Jersey unit shutting down. So I think a couple of those guys came over. Then we get a fair amount of people coming from active duty. But yeah, that's our biggest opening right now within our unit is TACP for sure. So, and then like I was saying, we're starting up an EOD unit too. So that's going to be another thing we're trying to push. So yeah, that's definitely what we're kind of shifting our focus to, is trying to fill those TACP openings. But yeah.
Well, how is so you guys are opening an EOD unit. Is it going to be similar in the way that the folks are going through their student flight status with the EOD folks, do you think?
I believe so. It's still super new to us, so I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do it, but I'd imagine it's going to be similar to how the TACP guys do it. We just hired a full-time SEL for that, so that was the first step. So we should be able to start recruiting for those here in the future, near future, hopefully. So
yeah.
For the EOD guys, what role are they going? Are they, just because I'm not familiar with how the 193rd AGAU is established, do they run the base? Because EOD historically is a civil engineering asset, right? They're not assigned to AFSOC kind of thing. They're not in a special tactics billet or anything like that. So how are they going to integrate that into the 193rd AGAU?
I'm honestly not entirely sure just yet. I think they're just gonna kind of be their own standalone thing.
Derrick, who's your 06, and how come they're not inviting you to the meetings for all the future plans? Peaches is like asking like chief questions. He's like, "Hey man, how are they going to take the CE guys that are EOD and integrate them into the base operations. And Derek's like, bro, like I'm a recruiter. Like,
Dude,
come on.
my bad. That is bad. I said
You chiefed him so hard just there.
I'm really regretting letting Peaches hop in late to this one. He's done nothing but bring negative energy, you know?
No, you're fine. Yeah, I'm honestly not entirely sure yet how it's going to all fit in. But we kind of have a few different. Our wing is very kind of diverse. I was kind of telling them earlier, we're the only guard unit with a dagger program. We just transitioned to the MC-130. So we had the EC-130 before, so we're transitioning to MC-130 now. So a lot of changes coming through. So, and parts of our unit that really don't have anything to do with the TACP unit. So I would imagine the EOD unit's going to be similar to that. We're just going to have them there for whatever they end up doing.
whatever they do, man.
It's
going to be great. I do have to ask this because I might not get the opportunity later and it's on my mind. Getting people ready for a 2-mile run though in the Air Force, even on the guard side, is this like a huge obstacle for you? I'm assuming the world is just falling apart and you can't possibly find people that can run 2 miles to join the Air Force.
We're gonna see how it pans out. We're gonna see. There's some people that aren't too happy about it, but I don't really see it being a bad thing. But we'll see.
Thank you, Derek.
It's two more laps, everybody. I don't know what to tell you. You were already running 1.5 miles. If you guys are doing math here, it's just 2 more 400 meters. So for the folks that are trying to come in, you've moved into the recruiter gig and you're trying your best to get those TACP numbers pumped up. And hey, newsflash, everybody, if you want to be a guard TACP dude, you need to hit Derrick up and you need to go talk to him. He's got a slot open for you right now. You can go and holler at him and be like, hey, I want to be a TACP guy. And then you can use all these awesome guard everything as a TACP guy. So when you're getting these folks in, what are some of the main questions you have? What are your biggest barriers to entry? And how can we get that information out to get people prepared to actually come talk to you?
Well, for TACP specifically, it's just be prepared. Don't tell us you're ready for an IFT when you're not. We've had some people that completely bombed it. And, there's other people that do pretty well. They're just kind of nervous. But yeah, just be prepared and make sure that that's what you want to do. Obviously, that's a way bigger commitment than a normal job in the Air Force. So just if you want information about it, that's perfectly fine. Like, we'll be glad to help you. All the people at the ASOS are really good about letting them come in, just get a better idea of what the job is like and giving them the real rundown of, it's hard. It's not your regular Air Force job. But yeah, just make sure that's what you want to do. Cause, and I heard, I listened to the episode you guys did with Sergeant Testaverde, and she was like, you can tell within the first 10 minutes if somebody's going to be a good candidate or not. And that's definitely true.
Well, first of all, they have a one's ready shirt on, right? The people that are prepared.
Yeah. Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just knowing that's what you want to do, and that's a big start. But in general, just coming in general, not being on any medications, that's a big one. Studying for the ASVAB is another big one. People that are out of school for a little bit, they might not be freshened up on some of the math and stuff that's on the ASVAB. So just studying and actually preparing for it. But yeah, just making sure you have questions ready for your recruiter, kind of do some research on the Air Force in general. It's crazy how many people come to us and they have no idea what we even do in the Air Force. And then they find out that we're in the Guard and they're even more confused. So just do some research. We have everything available.
Can you do me a favor? Next time someone hasn't been doing research, can you grab their phone and be like, let me see your screen time? And just make sure that they're spending all the time on the little box with all the world's information on it and be like, are you telling me during your 8 hours per day that you're staring at this screen, you can't do any research on the Air Force? That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I would love to see the results of that. Sorry, Aaron, I keep jumping.
Yeah. But
you don't apologize to me, Trent. I understand.
Yeah, just be prepared. I mean, kind of know what you're getting into. It's okay to have questions. That's what we're here for. My job is just provide information to you, and you can do with that what you will. But don't come to us with just basically not knowing what you're getting into, because it basically just takes up time, and and just be medically prepared too. If you're on medications, try to start either getting off of them or at least talking to your doctor about it. We can't tell anybody to get off medications, but that's a big start. And you see a lot of high school age kids these days that are on all types of anxiety meds, stuff like that. So we can't really do anything with you at that point. So until you can get off of them for at least 3 to 6 months, you can still reach out to us, but there's not going to be a whole lot we can do to you. We're always happy to answer questions, but just do research on what you actually need to do to get in, and then we'll help you with the rest.
Yeah, what are some of those other things they should be looking at? So you mentioned, in the vein of being prepared, what are some things that they need to do? Research into their own job? Is it research about, what kind of questions are good questions that you get that you can tell somebody's been doing their research and that you're happy to answer?
Yeah, job's a big one. Just kind of figuring out what we even do in the Air Force and what the mission really is. And if you're coming to talk to a Guard recruiter or an active duty recruiter, like learn the differences between the two, or and reserves, the three, and just do some research on whatever unit you want to join. Look up what the Pennsylvania Guard does, or whatever state you're in, or what's the Air Force really doing. Because I feel like we see some people that they just have zero clue like what the military even does, and maybe that's just not how they grew up, or it's just not what they do. But if you're coming to talk to a recruiter, just maybe do some research on what you're even getting yourself into. But that would be my biggest suggestion, I guess.
And what about the folks that come in and they have no idea what they want to do? They don't know what job it is they want to do. They just want to be part of the world's greatest Air Force, and they want to do it from Pennsylvania in the Guard. What are some things that they should start sort of, how do they even pick a job? Like, let's say that they're not set on Air Force Special Warfare and they don't know what it is that they want to do. How do you help guide them through like what job they want to do? What are some things that they need to look at?
Yeah, so once they take the ASVAB and get qualified at MEPS and all, we'll pull a job list of what we currently have available within the unit, based on what they qualify for, and then they can look at that list. We'll say like, hey, pick 3 or 4 of these jobs, and then you can come on base and do a job tour, and actually like go meet the people that do the job every day, and that'll give you a better idea of like what you're actually getting into, help you really see what you're going to be doing for the next 4 to 6 years, and then actually give them a good idea of what they're doing. So I think that helps a lot. Active duty, if somebody joins and say they're going to be a crew chief, they're like, well, I don't know what a crew chief is. With us, you can come in and meet the crew chiefs, and you can get the rundown, the good and the bad, and see if it's actually what you want to do. Whereas active duty, you're kind of just going in blind, might not know what you're really getting into. So I think that definitely helps with us. And we can sit down and like actually go over jobs, and then you're guaranteed that job with us, which I think helps a lot of people kind of secure what they want to do.
Well, what kind of trends, both positive and negative, are you guys seeing from candidates that are coming in? And it doesn't have to be one thing. Like if you see a whole bunch positive and you're like, man, I'm just noticing this one trend that's not great. Like, so looking for a positive and a negative.
Yeah, well, I've heard you guys say before too, and a lot of people bash this younger generation, but these are some of the most brilliant kids that we've ever seen. So, and I've heard some of our base leadership say it too. Is like some of the questions these kids ask us, like when they get to the unit, is like mind blowing. So that's definitely good. Just some super smart kids that we've been getting, people that have been doing like really well in the ASVAB, and going into jobs that are going to set them up for success in the future. On the lower side, is really just again, like I was saying, people score really well in the ASVAB, but then we also have people that don't do so hot. So that's a big one. And then really just the medications and typical like physical stuff that people see trying to join the military, asthma, stuff like that, which some things you can't really do anything about, but definitely the medications part, just people being on anxiety meds, ADHD, stuff like that. So there's just really nothing we can do with that. But yeah, I would say the good definitely outweighs the bad. We've been seeing some really good people come in that I think are going to have great careers and go on to do well for themselves. So
No, we agree, and like you said, we talk about that all the time. Is people will poo-poo the next generation that's following them because there's no way they're as hard as us. There's no way that it's as tough as us and that kind of stuff. And it's just,
yeah,
dude, they're smarter than we ever were. Well, maybe not ever were, but definitely when we came in, right? And you know, um, going back to the ASVAB thing, I think a lot of people get lulled into a false sense of security because they're like, dude, whatever, man, it's an ASVAB and it's for the military. There's no way it's going to be difficult. And
yeah,
it's true that it is not a difficult test, but if you are out of high school, you haven't taken a test in a while, or you've just been doing academic tests and you haven't actually opened an ASVAB book or an ASVAB app to practice the aptitude type test,
mm,
you may not do great on it. It's sure, there are some people that naturally will be able to dive in there, but it's just like the DFT or the IFT or something like that. If you know that you're going to do it, take that specific test, you train to that test. So if I know I'm
yep,
going to take an ASVAB, I should probably get an ASVAB study guide or an app or something like that and
yep,
do a couple practice tests just to see what kind of questions they are and then take it.
yeah, yeah. I agree. And we've seen the ASVAB ABC app. We've been recommending that a lot. Some of our other recruiters have had people jump their scores by like 20 points just by using that because it sets it basically gives you a test that's just like the real one, and it gives you questions that are just like are on the real one because some of the questions are they're not like a test you would have taken in school or something. It's kind of some of them are kind of oddly written. So
Yeah.
getting you to see those questions and how they're worded just definitely helps. And the ASVAB for Dummies book is really good too. So yeah, there's plenty of resources out there to get you ready for it.
And listen,
Um,
20 points on the NASDAQ could change the trajectory of your freaking life and your
yeah,
career.
that's a lot.
That's security forces to ISR. That's what that is right there.
Yeah,
Like
for
no
sure.
shots of security forces, but I mean, like you're talking about the difference between getting an intel job, getting one of these really like a coding,
Linguist.
yeah, all kinds of those crazy jobs. That's a crazy jump. I heard 20 points and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay.
it is
So,
crazy. And and if people are scoring in the 30s, chances are the jobs that you do qualify for, we don't have openings in. So you're to it's really important to just do well the first time, because if you do fail, say the first time, you got to wait a month, and it's just you're wasting your own time. So just preparing for it is so important. And with the resources we have today available, like there's really no reason to not be prepared.
yeah,
Um,
especially when you start talking about that screen time that Trent was talking about.
yeah, for sure.
But I think getting in there and studying in general, like even if you're going after active duty side too, like you're gonna go to tech school after this, and you're gonna have to study, guys. And then the military writes things in a certain way. And if you want to make rank, like I had some of these programs to make tech sergeant, which is the hardest rank to make in the military, in the Air Force, right? So like these are things that are going to come up over and over and over again. It's like it's even if you don't necessarily need help with your ASVAB score, start getting in there, seeing how the verbiage works, and getting those study habits back a little bit, and putting that time into your schedule to do some of this academic type stuff. It's only going to help you as you move along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
let's go from like right off the bat. What do people want to join the Guard? What do they do?
So I would, whatever state you're living in, just look up that state's Pennsylvania Air National Guard. Just Google that. There will be a website. We have all of our recruiter office numbers on there. So we have 3 wings in Pennsylvania: Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, and Philadelphia. Get in touch with any of those units, or you can just go to the Air National Guard website, put your zip code in, and then it'll direct you to the nearest recruiter. But yeah, just find one of us, get in touch with us. We're on social media, stuff like that. we're not super hard to find. I know the Guard in the past has been a little tough to find, and we're trying to get the name of the Guard, the Air National Guard, out there, because honestly, a lot of people don't even know that it exists. Is what I've come to find out. I definitely didn't when I went to join. This is why I talked to active duty first, and then I was like, "What the heck is the Air National Guard?" Like, I've heard of the Army National Guard, but so yeah, just trying to get the name out there. But we're just reach out to a recruiter. Every state has a Facebook page, an Instagram page. Just look up whatever state you're in, Air National Guard, and shoot them a DM, whatever. They'll get you in touch with somebody. So just reach out to us. We're pretty good at getting back to you, I feel like. Obviously, we have a ton of people, so if we don't get back to you right away, it's nothing personal. But that's another thing I would say, going back to your question, Peaches, was I think people just need to understand that we're not ignoring you. We're not, putting you off. We do want to get back to you. It's just we do have lives outside of the Air Force too, and there's only so many work hours in a day. So we're trying to get back to you as soon as we can, and we're also, some of us are working with 50 different people. So it's like, it's not that you're not a priority. It's just at the moment you're not the highest priority. Not to sound bad, but we will get back to you, and we're going to help you out as best we can.
Well, I think, dude, don't feel bad about that. That's the reality of it, and people need to realize, like, hey, you're not the only show in town, and you're probably not as important as you think you are. I realize that you're the main character in your own story, but
yeah,
they'd be lucky to have me, Jared. They should be calling me back at me. Do they know who I am? I graduated high school.
Oh man,
there's some of those out there for sure, but.
All right. Well, how about this? What piece of advice would you give to anybody that's looking to join the Guard?
Just do it. I mean, it's such a, like I was saying earlier, and not to harp on it, but it is such a great life. It's a great, like, family atmosphere. The Guard is very family oriented. You get to stay living at home. The full-time opportunities are great if you can get one. And even just the traditional Guardsman life is great, because, you get to have a life outside of it. And one weekend a month you get to come in and kind of play Air Force, if you will. Not really, but we still get the same travel opportunities. I've been all over the world in the Guard. So it's just such an awesome experience. Like, I would have never got to experience some of the things I've done and meet the people I have without joining the Guard. And, just the opportunities are endless. So if you're kind of hesitant, like, just do it. It's not that bad. It really is a good life. And I tell people that all the time, is like, I don't really care what branch you join. Like, if you're right out of high school or whatever, and you're unsure what you want to do, like, go join the military. Go give your country 4 to 6 years of your life, and get out of your house, like, get some life experience. And if it's not for you, like, 4 years later, you're still young, you can go do whatever you want to. So I think it's important that we, promote the military to people, because I feel like in some aspects it's looked down upon as just like an escape route or something. But it's given me so much opportunity and taken me places I would have never gotten to go to. So it's just do it, is my
Look, dude, for some of us that weren't like, oh, Guard, family, all that other stuff, it was an escape route, okay? So for active duty folks, don't feel bad if it's an escape route for you.
Yeah, don't shame the escape route.
Believe me, I'm not trying to say that at all. Active duty is a great opportunity too. And there's times where I'm like, man, I should have done active duty just to experience that for a few years and then join the Guard later. But I don't really regret anything I've done.
That's just your brain doing the grass is greener thing, whatever. But I think if we learned anything from this podcast, this episode, is that the reserves are the bottom tier of the military. It's the active duty and Guard is okay, and the reserve, I don't know.
You said
could have left on a positive note.
Yeah,
but really
boy.
just sticking it in there.
Look, we already made fun of Sear, like, which I feel bad about, kind of. So I was like, yeah, let's throw the reserves under the bus because I don't know anything about the reserves.
Can
honestly.
you be a
We've got some
reserve
Sear
Sear
guys in
guy?
our unit too, so.
Yeah, reserve Sear is the bottom of the barrel.
How dare you?
I don't know if that exists. Derrick, dude, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We will link all of your how to get a hold of you specifically for all the TACPs out there, the TACP hopefuls that want to move to Pennsylvania and live that life so they can get a hold of you for all that other stuff. Everybody else, make sure you like, subscribe, go on the website. We've been pushing the merch a little bit because we have some new rad stuff, but make sure you're over there. Members, it's what is it, a cup of coffee per month to become a member, to see all the behind the scenes stuff and everything else that we think, what we actually think in the language that we think it, if you want to see that stuff. But Derrick, again, thanks for coming on here. We will talk to you soon, and good luck getting all those dirty, nasty TACPs into the Pennsylvania Guard.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Thanks, Derrick.